Hi, this is David Smith. I am at the Montreal International Games Summit, and I'm pleased to have with me Todd Northcutt, the General Manager for GameSpy Technology. Todd, please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, as David said, my name is Todd Northcutt, and I run GameSpy Technology. We're an online services company, so we help game publishers and game developers add online services to their games. These can be big AAA games like you play on the PS3 or the 360, or small independent studios making handheld games or mobile games on iPhone or Android.
Okay, tell us a bit more about what GameSpy Technology does for online games.
Yeah, sure. So we have a really wide variety of services, and they range from things that we've done for years and people know us really for, which is things like matchmaking and multiplayer, playing against others over the internet, to other things that you might not know that we do. So a big part of what we do now is collect metrics on how people play games and report those back to the game developer, and also present those to users in interesting ways. We also help enable the sharing of user-generated content. So if you've played a game like Civilization 5 and you've seen the little mod sharing tool that's built directly into the game interface, we provide all the back-end services that the developer needs to actually make that happen, so they can focus on making a great game and not on operating an infrastructure on the back end.
And tell us about your role at GameSpy and how you came to be working at GameSpy in the first place.
So 2010 is my 11th year at the company. I started out, right now I'm the general manager, so I'm responsible for everything from, I oversee sales and product development and marketing and so on and so forth. But I started out in 1999 doing community management, really. I was a PhD candidate at the University of Rochester, working on my PhD in chemistry, of all things. And just became really obsessed with multiplayer games in general. Quake was the big game then. Ended up quitting school, moving all the way across the country from New York to California to really go and be part of a small startup company that was trying to make big things happen, trying to make the experience of playing online available to everybody. And then just over time, I've kind of gradually made my way up through the company. I've stuck around through different acquisitions, and now I'm running the show.
Fantastic, an example to us all. And why would you say GameSpy is a great place to work?
So we're in an interesting spot. So we love games. That's really our passion, and we're always trying to use on the connection that the device you're playing the game on has to the internet to really make something special happen. So we get to work with literally 150 to 200 different developers every year on 150 to 200 different games. So that means that we're involved in the actual creation and development of lots and lots of different games, which is an experience that not all game developers get to have. You may slave away on a game for 24 or 30 months as an individual developer, but the space that we occupy as a service provider means that we get to have a little hand in all kinds of different games. And those can be small, and there are certainly people that just use a fraction of the services we provide. But then we also get to have some really in-depth relationships with people like Rockstar and Activision and EA and Nintendo, and really be a part of kind of special parts of big games like Mario Kart and Red Dead Redemption.
Fantastic. And I know you're based in California, in I think Orange County and San Francisco. Why would you say those locations are great places to both to live and to work?
Well, our headquarters is in San Francisco, and that's a great place to work, kind of from an online and internet perspective. It's got a really strong startup and entrepreneurial culture, and our culture is exactly that. Despite the fact that we're a almost 12-year-old company now, we still very much consider ourselves startups, and so there's that kind of energy and excitement that's there in the San Francisco office. And then Orange County is just a few miles from the beach, so it's hard to beat that.
Great. And finally, Todd, what advice would you give a job seeker looking to apply for a job with GameSpy?
So we're primarily Most of the people that work at our company are engineers or fairly technical. But the number one thing that we really look for when we're looking for candidates is not necessarily what specific technologies you have experience with, where you went to school. What we're really looking for when we're looking for new employees is, number one, they have to be really passionate about games, and they need to play a wide variety of games. We've tried hiring people from outside the game space, and that's worked out really well, but only when the people are really interested in games and making games better. So I think that's one of the number one things to have, is really a passion for games in general. And then the number two thing is kind of to be inquisitive and always looking for the next challenge or trying to figure out how to solve the next big problem. Because we really look at the strengths of the individual and their capacity to grow over time, as opposed to someone who's a domain expert in one thing and only that one thing and doesn't really care about things outside of that particular specialization.
Great. Todd Northcutt, General Manager, GameSpy Technology. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.